I'd been rehearsing the words all week. I stood in front of the mirror, holding the small velvet box like it was the key to my future. "Layla," I whispered, trying out the line again. "We've been through everything together. Will you?" The door opened behind me. "Will you what?" Layla's voice teased. I turned around too fast. "Nothing." "You're early." She smiled, the kind of smile that used to calm me no matter how bad my day was. "You're acting weird. What's going on?" "Just work stuff," I lied, tucking the box into my jacket pocket. "How was your day?" "Tiring. Adrian made us stay late again." I froze. "Adrian? The new guy?" She nodded. "The CEO's son. He's actually nice once you get to know him." Something twisted in my chest, but I forced a laugh. "Guess I'll have to compete for your attention now." "You're ridiculous," she said. But her voice lacked the warmth it used to have. We sat at the tiny cafe where we had our first date. The lights were dim, the air soft with jazz and coffee. I watched her sip her drink, the ring box burning in my pocket. "You remember this place?" I asked. "How could I forget?" "You spilled hot chocolate all over your shirt." I smiled. "And you said you'd only go out with me again if I stopped trying to impress you." She laughed faintly. "Yeah, guess you did all right." My hands trembled under the table. "Layla," I said quietly, "I know things have been stressful lately. But through everything, you're still the one I want. The one I see in every plan I make." "Elias, what are you?" I got down on one knee. "I love you. You've been my best friend, my strength, my home. Will you marry me?" The cafe went silent. The few people nearby turned to look. I saw a tear form in her eye, then hesitation. "Elias," her voice cracked. My heart dropped. "Layla." She stared at the ring, her lips trembling. "It's beautiful. You're amazing, but this is a lot." "I know it's sudden," I said quickly, "but we've been together for years." "I thought, I need to think," she whispered. "Think," I repeated. "Layla, we've been planning our lives since college." "You said—" "I know what I said." She snapped, then softened. "I'm sorry. It's just, I don't know if I'm ready for this." I stood, the ring still in my hand. Not ready, or not sure about me. Her silence answered everything. I forced a smile I didn't feel. "It's okay. You don't have to decide now." She reached across the table. "Elias, don't make this harder." Harder. My laugh came out bitter. "I worked 2 jobs for this ring, Layla. I skipped meals just to save enough because I wanted to give you something real. Not fancy, just real." Her eyes filled with guilt. "I didn't ask you to." "No, you didn't," I said quietly. "You didn't have to." "I wanted to." She looked away. "You deserve someone who's sure. I thought that was you." She didn't answer. The silence between us felt heavier than any words could carry. The waitress came to clear the table, glancing awkwardly at the ring in my hand. I slipped it back into the box. "Guess I'll hold on to it then." "Elias, don't," I said, my throat tight. "Not tonight." We left the cafe in silence. The streets shimmered under the rain, neon lights reflecting off puddles. She walked ahead, her heels clicking against the wet pavement. I followed a few steps behind, wondering when she'd started feeling so far away. At her apartment, she turned to me. "I'm sorry. I just need time." "How much time?" "I don't know." Her voice was soft, but final. I nodded, pretending I understood. When she closed the door, I stood there for a full minute, listening to the faint sound of her footsteps fading inside. I looked down at the ring box in my hand. The streetlight caught the metal. It's making it glint, like something mocking me. "I thought you were my forever," I whispered. The rain started again. Slow at first, then heavier like the sky couldn't stand watching either. That night, I went home and placed the ring on my desk. It sat there like a reminder that even the best intentions can shatter quietly. I told myself she just needed space. But deep down, I knew something had already changed, and it wasn't just her. Layla texted me, "Come to my office party tonight." It's casual? Casual? That word should have warned me. When I arrived, the place looked anything but casual. Chandeliers, marble floors, men in tailored suits. I tugged at my thrift store blazer, already feeling out of place. Layla waved from across the room. Elias, you made it. Wouldn't miss it, I said, forcing a smile. Nice place. She laughed nervously. Yeah, the company doesn't hold back. Let me introduce you to my team. We moved through the crowd, people holding champagne like props. I nodded, smiled, tried to fit in, until she stopped beside a tall man in a dark suit. His presence was magnetic, but his smirk said he knew it. Ilias, Layla said. This is Adrian Cole. He's one of our major investors. Adrian extended a hand. Ah, the boyfriend. The guy who fixed his own car, right? Layla blinked. How did you? He shrugged. You mentioned it once. Admirable. Not many men can do that these days. I shook his hand. Firm grip. Guess I just like doing things myself, of course, he said smoothly. Self-made types are interesting. The way he looked at me like I was a curiosity behind glass made my stomach twist. So, Elias, he continued, what do you do? I work in logistics, I said. Small company, but we're growing. Logistics, he repeated, as if tasting something bland. Impressive. That must be rewarding. It pays the bills, I replied, trying to keep my tone even. Layla interjected quickly. He's great at what he does. He even helped me organize the company's organization, Adrian cut in. That's important. Though sometimes money organizes faster than effort. Layla laughed too quickly. You and your sayings. He smiled at her, not me, and said, I speak from experience. I wanted to walk away, but Layla's hand brushed mine. Don't, she whispered. He's just teasing. Yeah, I said under my breath. Teasing feels a lot like disrespect. Please, Elias. Not here. I exhaled and looked around. Everyone seemed to orbit him, coworkers laughing at his half-jokes, women watching his every move. I caught the way Layla glanced at him when he wasn't looking. Admiration, or maybe curiosity. Either way, it burned. Adrian turned to me again. So tell me, Elias, how does it feel being with someone as talented as Layla? She's one of our brightest. Feels great, I said. She works hard. I'm proud of her. Proud, he echoed. That's nice. You must be confident then. Not every man can handle a woman with ambition. Confidence isn't my problem, I said evenly. Good, he said, sipping his drink. Because her future's going places. Big places. Layla laughed nervously. Okay, enough about me. Adrian, didn't you say you're expanding your firm? I did. He smiled, looking at her. I'm scouting talent. Maybe someone like you, Layla. Her cheeks flushed. Don't flatter me. It's not flattery if it's true. I clenched my jaw. So this is what casual means? Recruiting over champagne? Layla's eyes widened. Elias, please. Adrian chuckled softly. Don't worry, I'm not stealing anyone yet I repeated, glaring. Interesting choice of word. He raised his glass. Relax, Elias. The world's big enough for all of us. Not when some people buy bigger pieces, I muttered. Layla tugged my sleeve. Can we talk outside? I followed her to the balcony. The city lights shimmered below, mocking me. What was that? She demanded. I'm sorry, I said. He talks like he owns you. He's my boss's son, she said. He does own half of this place. That's not what I meant, she sighed. You're being jealous? Shouldn't I be? You didn't see how he looked at you. Stop, she said sharply. You're overreacting. He's just friendly. Friendly doesn't make your voice shake when you talk to him. She folded her arms. You're being unfair. He respects me, oh, Layla. He sees you as something he wants to own. She turned away. You're impossible sometimes, maybe I said. But I'm not blind. The door opened behind us. Adrian stepped out, smiling. Am I interrupting? Layla shook her head too fast. No, we were just talking. Good, he said smoothly. Because I'd hate to come between you two. He looked at me when he said it. Slow, deliberate. Layla excused herself to take a call, leaving us alone. Adrian leaned closer. You know, Elias, you seem like a good guy. But good guys don't always win. I stared at him. We'll see. He smiled faintly. We will. When he left, I gripped the railing, the city spinning below me. I told myself money couldn't buy love. But for the first time, I wasn't sure I believed it. I remember the exact moment my world cracked open. Not loudly, not violently, just quietly. Like a candle going out. It was a calm Saturday morning. I, Daniel Hayes, had stepped into the little bakery across from my apartment, the one where Emily and I used to buy blueberry muffins every weekend. Old habits really do cling to you, even when the person tied to them is gone. I ordered the usual. I wasn't thinking about her. At least that's what I told myself. Then my phone buzzed. A message from my best friend, Aaron. Dan, I'm sorry, but you deserve the truth. Open this. My stomach tightened. Still, I tapped the link. The first thing that loaded was a wedding photo. A fancy hall, chandeliers shining like diamonds. Flowers arranged so perfectly they didn't look real, and in the center of it a Lemily, not holding my hand. Not wearing the ring I gave her, she was standing next to a tall, silver-haired man, Richard Collins, a well-known millionaire businessman. She wasn't just smiling. She looked like someone who had finally gotten everything she wanted. The caption hit me harder than the picture. Congratulations to Mr. Collins and his beautiful bride. Bride. That was the word that sliced through my chest. I didn't shout, I didn't cry, I didn't collapse. I just stood there. The warm bag of muffins in my hand slowly losing its heat. While the cold truth settled inside me, Emily had moved on not for love, but for luxury. The bakery noise faded into a distant hum. The world around me felt unreal, as if I was watching someone else's life fall apart. For a long moment, I didn't move. I just breathed in, breathed out, and felt my future rearrange itself. When I finally stepped outside, the cold morning air hit my face like a slap that woke me up. I saw an old man sitting near the bus stop, shivering lightly. Without thinking, I placed the warm muffins into his hands. He looked up at me with eyes full of gratitude, more warmth than Emily had shown me in months. As I walked home, something in me started shifting, breaking, rebuilding. I realized the truth. If she could leave so easily, then she never truly loved me. She loved the idea of a perfect life, and when she found a shortcut, she took it. Inside my apartment, I sat at my desk and pulled out a dusty notebook. The one where I had once scribbled ideas, business concepts, app designs, dreams I had planned to chase after marriage. Emily always called them unrealistic. Maybe they were, but they were mine. I flipped through the pages until I found the first idea I had ever written. Build something that makes life better for ordinary people. Simple. Small, but suddenly alive. For the first time in months, my heart felt light. Emily married a millionaire, but me. I was about to marry my purpose, and that felt like the beginning of everything. I stopped counting the days after she married him. Each one felt the same, long, heavy, pointless. Noah found me at the bar again. "You're drinking before noon now?" he said, sliding into the seat beside me. "It's afternoon somewhere," I muttered, staring at the empty glass. He sighed. "You've missed 3 shifts, Elias. They called me." "You're gonna get fired." "Let them," I said. "What's the point?" "The point," he snapped, "is you can't drown in whiskey forever." I laughed dryly. "Watch me." He grabbed the glass from my hand. "Enough. You think she's worth losing your job over?" "She was my life," I said. "And she threw it away." "She threw herself away," he replied. You're still here, barely?" I stared at him. "You don't get it. I built everything around her. Every plan, every dream, then build something else." "I don't have the strength." "Then find it," he said sharply. "Because pity won't feed you, and pain won't pay rent." I didn't answer. The words stung because they were true. He stood. "You have 2 choices, Elias. Stay down or get up." That's it. When he left, I sat there for a long time, the silence pressing against my chest. 2 days later, my boss called me into his office. "Elias, we've been patient, but your performance I already knew. You're firing me, he hesitated. We can't keep someone who's stopped trying. I nodded. I get it. Walking out with a box of my things felt like walking out of myself. The sky looked gray, and I couldn't tell if it was the weather or me. Back home, the power had been cut off. The landlord's note was on the door. 3 days to pay or vacate. I dropped the box and laughed bitterly. Perfect. That night, I sat on the floor surrounded by bills. The room smelled like smoke from the candle I'd lit chip light for a life that had fallen apart. Noah showed up again, knocking hard. Open up, I'm fine, I said. You sound like hell. He pushed inside anyway. This place is freezing. Can't afford heat, I muttered. He looked at the bills. You need a plan. I need her to regret it, I said quietly. He frowned. Revenge won't fix you. It's not about fixing, I said. It's about proving I was worth something. He sat beside me. Then start proving it. How? Start small, he said. Get any job. Save. Learn something new. You're smart, Elias. Smarter than half the guys I know. I don't feel smart, I whispered. He leaned forward. You don't need her to rise. You need yourself. Those words hit harder than I expected. I didn't respond. I just stared at the candle flame, the way it flickered but never went out. Why are you helping me? I asked finally. Because I've seen what happens when people give up, he said softly, and I'm not watching it happen to you. He left soon after, but his words stayed that night. I sat there replaying everything: Layla's laughter, Adrian's smirk, my own failures. For the first time, stopped asking why she left and started asking why I let myself fall apart. I looked around the dim room. Empty bottles, unopened bills, broken glass from the photo I'd shattered weeks ago. It all felt like a grave, and I was the one buried. I stood, picked up the trash, threw it all into a bag. One by one, I cleaned the mess. When I reached the burned bowl that once held her picture, I didn't feel pain any, more just clarity. The ring was gone, the photo gone, the job gone. But I was still breathing. I whispered, you took everything but not me. For the first time in months, that thought felt powerful. I opened the window, letting in the cold night air. Somewhere outside, a city kept moving, living, thriving. I'll rise too, said quietly. My voice didn't shake this time. The candle burned low, but the flame stayed strong. I watched it until dawn, realizing something simple and terrifying. If I wanted a new life, I'd have to build it myself. And this time, I wouldn't build it around anyone else. I didn't have a plan, just anger, hunger, and an old laptop that overheated after an hour. Noah called one morning. You alive? Barely, I said. But I'm working on it. Working on what? Something. Anything that'll get me out of this hole? He hesitated. You got a job? Not yet. I'm freelancing. Designing websites for small shops? You know how to code? I'm learning, I said. You'd be surprised how fast desperation teaches. He laughed. Well, keep at it. Just don't burn out. Already burned, I muttered. Now I'm rebuilding. The first few months were brutal. Clients ghosted me. Payments came late. I slept for hours a night. But slowly, projects started piling up. I saved every dollar I could, skipping meals, skipping weekends. One night, while working at a cafe, a woman sat across from me. She had a laptop covered in stickers and a confident smile. You've been staring at that screen for hours, she said. Freelancer? Trying to be, I said. You? Investor, she replied, closing her laptop. Name's Maya. Ah. I raised an eyebrow. Investor? In what? In people who look like they're starving for something more than money. I laughed. That obvious? She smiled. Pain usually shows. What are you building? Websites for small businesses. But I've been thinking bigger. Tell me. I hesitated. It's just an idea. An app that helps local sellers connect directly with buyers. No middlemen. Simple, fast. She leaned forward. Like a local marketplace? Exactly. People think it's too small to matter. But small things built my world once. Oh, she studied me. Do you have a prototype? Half of one. Show me. I turned my laptop around, showing her messy code, rough designs, unfinished screens. She watched quietly. It's raw, she said, but it has heart. I frowned. Heart doesn't pay rent. True, she said, but it gets investors interested. How much do you need to finish it? I blinked. You're serious? I don't joke about potential. You've got something here. I don't even have a company name. She smiled. You will. I'll cover the first round, and one condition. What's that? Don't give up halfway. Most people do. I nodded. I won't. Months passed like seconds. With Maya's help, I registered the company, built a small team of freelancers, and worked 16-hour days. Noah visited once, eyes wide at the rows of sticky notes and sketches covering my apartment wall. The gala was loud music, laughter, money pretending to be kindness. I straightened my tie and walked in, wearing the same designer brand Layla once said I could never afford. Noah leaned close. You sure about this? I smiled. More than ever. My name was on the guest list this time, not as a +1, but as a sponsor. My company had donated enough to earn a table near the stage, Elias. A familiar voice called. I turned. Layla stood near the champagne bar, gold dress shimmering under the lights. For a second, time froze. Then I noticed at the flicker of uncertainty in her eyes. Layla, I said calmly. It's been a while, she blinked. You look different. Should hope so. Been busy rebuilding my life. Her smile trembled. I heard about your app. It's everywhere. Congratulations. Thanks, I said. Didn't expect to see you here. Adrian's on the board, she said, glancing toward the crowd. He insisted we attend. Of course he did. She bit her lip. Elias. Before she could finish, Adrian appeared beside her. His face looked tighter, older, the charm replaced by stress lines. Elias, he said, offering a thin smile. Didn't expect to run into you? I could say the same, I replied. He laughed softly. You've done well for yourself. Impressive. Coming from you, that almost sounds sincere. He chuckled again, but his eyes darted toward a group of investors across the room. We should catch up sometime. Maybe discuss partnerships? I tilted my head. Partnerships. Between your failing company and mine? His jaw tightened. Rumors, he said flatly. Right. Just like the rumor that you bought your way into love. Oh. Layla flinched. Elias, stop. I turned to her. Why? Truth makes people uncomfortable? She took a breath. This isn't the place. Relax, I said, forcing a smile. I'm not here to fight. Adrian's phone buzzed. He excused himself, muttering something about business calls. The moment he left, Layla's voice dropped. You didn't have to humiliate him. Funny. I don't remember you defending me when he humiliated me. That was different. I said sharply. It was the same. You chose comfort over loyalty. Shh. She looked down. You don't understand what it was like back then. Then explain it, I said. Why'd you leave without a word? Her voice cracked. I was scared, Elias. You had dreams but no stability. Adrian offered security. So you traded love for luxury. I thought it would make me happy, and did it? Her silence was louder than the music. I took a sip of champagne. You know what's ironic? I used to think I'd never measure up to him. But now, he's the one chasing investors while I'm turning them down. Her eyes softened. You've changed. Had to, I said. You don't survive betrayal by staying the same. She took a shaky breath. I never stopped caring about you. Don't, I said quietly. Don't rewrite history. You stopped caring the day you said yes to him. Tears filled her eyes. I made a mistake. Maybe, I said. But some mistakes don't get second chances. A voice from behind interrupted us. Mr. Howell, the board would like a word. It was one of the event hosts. Nodded. Tell them I'll be there in a moment, Layla whispered. You're really doing well, aren't you? I smiled faintly. Better than well. I'm free. She looked away, wiping a tear before it fell. You deserve it. For once, I said, I agree. I walked toward the main hall, but she called after me, Elias. I stopped. She hesitated, voice trembling. If things had been different, I turned around. They weren't. That's the point. Her lips parted, but no sound came out. I didn't wait. Noah met me near the stage. Everything okay? Better than okay, I said. That was closure, he grinned. You sure? Looked like she wanted more than closure. She had her chance, I said. Now she gets to watch. The music swelled as the host announced the sponsors. My name was read last and the crowd applauded. I caught Layla's gaze across the room. She smiled faintly, but I could see the regret behind her eyes. I raised my glass toward her, just enough for her to notice, and whispered to myself, You lost me when you thought I was replaceable. For the first time, the power was mine. Noah burst into my office one morning. You'll never guess who's downstairs. I didn't look up from my laptop. A delivery guy. Layla, he said quietly. My hands froze over the keyboard. You're joking. He shook his head. She looks rough. Says she needs to talk. I leaned back, taking a slow breath. Let her in. A few minutes later, she stepped inside. Her hair was shorter, her eyes tired. The confidence she once wore like perfume was gone. Elias, she said softly. You look good. I could say the same, I replied, but I don't lie anymore. She winced, but forced a smile. I deserve that. You deserve worse, I said, standing. What do you want, Layla? She hesitated. Can we talk privately? Noah took the hint and left. The door closed, leaving just us and the quiet hum of my computer. She looked around my office, her gaze landing on the company logo on the wall. You really made it, she whispered. Everything you dreamed of. Everything you said I couldn't have, I corrected. She nodded slowly. I was wrong about a lot of things, I said. Her voice broke. Adrian cheated on me, said nothing. He left me with debts, lawsuits, everything's gone. Everything you chose, I replied. Tears welled in her eyes. I thought money would make life easier. I didn't realize how empty it would feel. You didn't want a man who dreamed, I said coldly. You wanted one who already had everything. How's that working out? She sobbed. I made a mistake, Elias. I miss you. The way you cared. The way you believed in me. I stared at her, unmoved. You miss who I was, not who I am. She reached across the desk. Please, can we start over? I leaned back, arms crossed. Start over. With the woman who left me to rot while she played trophy wife? I was stupid. She cried. I thought love wouldn't feed us. I thought I was being practical. And now? I asked. Now I just want peace, she said, her voice trembling, and maybe forgiveness. I laughed quietly. Forgiveness. You think you can walk in here after years and just ask for that? Her lip quivered. I don't expect anything. I just needed to see you. Why? To prove I survived? She looked at me with watery eyes. You're angry. I understand. No, I said firmly. I'm not angry anymore. She blinked. You're not? Anger is for people who still care, she whispered. Then, what do you feel? Nothing, I said. And that's what finally set me free. She stared at me, confused. I don't understand. I stood, walking toward the window. The city stretched below, glowing in the afternoon sun. You married money, Layla. I married peace. She flinched like the words slapped her. I thought revenge would make me happy, I continued. But it didn't. What did was realizing you couldn't destroy me, just forced me to grow. Her voice broke again. I never wanted to hurt you. But you did, I said. And that pain built the man you're talking to now. Silence filled the room. She looked smaller than I remembered, fragile in a way that used to make me protective. Now it just made me tired. I should go, she whispered. Probably, I said. She stood, brushing a tear from her cheek. If I ever meant anything to you, you did, I interrupted. You taught me what love isn't. She swallowed hard. Goodbye, Elias. Goodbye, Layla. She walked to the door, pausing once more. For what it's worth, I'm proud of you. I nodded. For what it's worth, I'm proud of me too. When the door closed, I sat back down and exhaled slowly. My chest felt light, almost empty, but in a good way. Noah peeked in after a minute. She gone? Yeah, he smirked. How'd it go? She wanted to start over, I said, and I told her the truth, which was, I smiled faintly, that some people aren't meant to come back. He chuckled. You finally let her go. Oh, I said. I let myself go. Outside the window, the sunlight hit the skyline just right. It felt like the world was moving again. For once, I wasn't chasing it. The office lights flickered softly against the windows as I leaned back in my chair, exhaustion washing over me. The city glowed outside louder than my thoughts, yet somehow quieter than my heart. A knock broke the silence. Working late again? Clara's voice carried warmth, the kind that made even fatigue feel lighter. I smiled. You know me? I don't rest well. She stepped in, holding 2 cups of coffee. Then you're lucky I don't either. I took one, breathing in the scent. You always seem to show up when I forget how to slow down. Maybe I just know when you need saving, she said, half teasing, half sincere. Funny, I said. I thought I stopped needing that. No one stops needing kindness, she replied. Not even you. I looked at her across the room, calm, grounded, completely unlike the chaos I used to chase. You ever wonder why people like us keep trying to fix everything? She shrugged. Because we've seen what it's like to lose everything, and we don't want to go back. Her words sat heavy in the air. I nodded slowly. You know, I used to think love was about proving myself, about being good enough for someone else. And now? She asked. Now I think it's about peace, I said quietly. About finding someone who doesn't make you question your worth. She smiled faintly. Sounds like growth. Our luck, I said. Depending on how you see it, maybe both, she said. But peace takes work too. I chuckled. You make everything sound like a job. It's because the best things are, she said. You build them every day. For a moment, neither of us spoke. The room felt safe, like time had slowed just enough for me to breathe again. I broke the silence. Clara, there's something I need to tell you. She raised a brow. That sounds serious. It is, I said, my throat tightening. You've been there since the start. When I was at my lowest, when I didn't believe in anything, not even myself, and you never asked for anything in return. I didn't need to, she said softly. I just wanted you to find your way. I did, I said. And somehow, that way always led back to you. Her eyes softened. Ethan, I'm not good at this, I said, nervously running a hand through my hair. But I think I've been falling for you since that first free cup of coffee. She smiled, eyes glistening. Took you long enough to admit it, so you knew? I suspected, she said. But I wanted you to say it when you were ready, I said, laughing quietly. I'm ready now. She studied me for a moment, her expression unreadable. Then she said, I'm not going to say yes right away. I blinked. You're not? No, she said gently, because I don't want this to be another quick fix. Let's build something that lasts. Her words hit deeper than any confession could. You mean together? She nodded. If you're patient enough to build it brick by brick, I smiled. Patience I can do. I've rebuilt worse. She laughed softly. That's what scares me. Make hard work sound easy. Only when it's worth it, I said. She stepped closer, close enough that I could see the small coffee stain on her sleeve. You really think I'm worth it? I don't think I said. I know. The air between us shifted. Not heavy, not rushed, just real. She placed her hand over mine. Then let's take it slow. For once, I said, smiling, I'm in no hurry. We stood there in silence, the hum of the city below us, the lights flickering like quiet applause. For the first time, love didn't feel like a storm. It felt like a home I'd finally found. And this time, I wasn't afraid to stay. Maybe both, she laughed. Then say it clearly. You taught me happiness isn't revenge or success or proving anyone wrong. It's choosing the person who stood beside you when you were nothing. She stared at me, her eyes soft. That's the sweetest thing you've ever said. I'm serious, I said. You believed in me before I did. You saw something I couldn't, and I don't ever want to lose that. Her hand brushed mine. You won't. I pulled a small box from my pocket. Then marry me. Eyes widened. Elias, I'm not asking out of pride, I said. Not because I need to prove anything. I'm asking out of gratitude. Because you are the reason I learned to breathe again. She covered her mouth, tears forming. You really mean that? Every word. She laughed through her tears. You're supposed to make me think about it first. Then think fast, I said, smiling. She took a shaky breath. Yes, of course. Yes. Relief flooded through me. I slipped the ring onto her finger. It wasn't extravagant, just simple and honest. Like her, she leaned in, resting her forehead against mine. You know what's funny? What? I never needed you to be powerful. Just present. I can do that, I whispered. Forever. We stayed there under the soft city glow, two broken souls who had somehow found wholeness together, and for the first time, I understood. Happiness wasn't about what I built. It was about who stood with me when I was still learning how to stand it all. The cafe smelled of roasted beans and rain. I was there for a meeting, laptop open, waiting for a client who was running late. Then I heard a voice. Elias. I turned, and for a moment, time folded back on itself. Layla stood behind the counter, wearing an apron and a tired smile. Her hair was shorter, her eyes softer, older. Layla, I said quietly, didn't expect to see you here? She gave a small, awkward laugh. I could say the same. You're doing well, I heard. I said. You. She shrugged. Working. Trying to start over. I nodded. That's good. Starting over's hard, but it's worth it. She glanced at my left hand, noticing the ring. You got married? I did, I said, smiling. To Maya. Her voice faltered. She's beautiful. She is, I said, and she's kind. Layla looked down. I remember when you used to say kindness was overrated. I was angry back then, I admitted. Now I know it's the only thing that lasts. She hesitated, then leaned on the counter. Do you ever think about the past? Sometimes, I said honestly, but not the way you think. What do you mean? I don't miss it, I said. I just remember it to see how far I've come. Her eyes glistened. You really changed. I had to, I said. Pain does that. It either breaks you or rebuilds you. And you rebuilt, she whispered. I did, I said, smiling faintly. Brick by brick. She swallowed. Adrian and I, we divorced last year, I heard. He left nothing, she said. Not even dignity. I'm sorry, I said gently. Not for him leaving, just for the lessons you had to learn the hard way. Her voice trembled. You hate me, don't you? I shook my head. I don't hate you, Layla. I outgrew you. That's worse. Not really, I said. It means I finally learned to love myself more than my pain. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. The sound of cups clinking and soft music filled the space between us. She whispered, You deserved better. I found better, I said. Not because someone gave it to me, but because I became it. She smiled sadly. You really did move on. Had to, I said. My story wasn't about losing you. It was about finding me. Her lips trembled. You always had a way with words. And you always had a way of teaching me what they meant, I said, standing. She nodded slowly. Goodbye, Elias. Goodbye, Layla, I said, meaning it. As I left, I caught my reflection in the cafe window. The man looking back wasn't broken or bitter or haunted. He was free. And for the first time, I smiled not to prove anything, not to remember, but simply because I could. Maya and I sat on the balcony of our home, watching the sunset fade into gold and violet. She leaned her head on my shoulder. You're quiet, she said. I'm just thinking, I replied. It's strange how everything came full circle. She smiled. You mean how the man who lost everything ended up building more than he imagined? Something like that, I said, chuckling. I used to think success meant proving people wrong, Now I think it's just about being able to breathe without bitterness. She turned toward me. Do you still think about her? Sometimes, I admitted. Not out of love or anger, just as a reminder of where I started. Maya nodded. Pain can be a good teacher, the best one, I said softly. But it charges a heavy tuition. She laughed gently. And what did it teach you, Mr. Selfmade? I thought for a moment. That money can rebuild walls, but not hearts. That revenge fades fast. But peace, I smiled. Peace stays. She reached for my hand. You found your peace. I didn't find it, I said. I built it. She raised an eyebrow. Built it. Yeah, one hard lesson at a time. Every night I spent broken. Every morning I got up anyway. That's where the fortune came from. Not the company. Not the bank accounts. You really believe that? She asked. I know it, I said. Because if I lost everything again, I'd still have me. And that's something no one can take. Maya smiled. You're starting to sound like a philosopher. Maybe, I said, but I earned it. She squeezed my hand. You did? We sat in silence for a while, the city lights flickering like distant stars. The air was calm, the kind that feels earned after storms. I whispered, I used to envy people with money. Now I pity anyone who measures worth by it. She tilted her head. So what do you measure it by? By the strength to rise, I said. By the choice to love again. By knowing that happiness isn't something you stumble upon. It's something you create. Maya smiled. Then I guess we're rich. I looked at her, heart full. Richest people alive. And as the night settled around us, I finally understood my fortune wasn't in what I owned. It was in who I'd become.